Have you ever noticed how one yes can open countless doors? Have you ever stopped to think what might be missed when you say no and leave a door closed? This is a story of restoration of hope, celebrating 20 years of saying yes to God, to the Holy Spirit, and to those in need, even when it's hard, even when it hurts. One yes can create a ripple effect that transforms a nation. My first yes at age 5, when Jesus knocked on the door of my heart, and yes, age 7, when I first felt called to Africa. Yes, at 20, to go to war-torn Burundi, a country coming out of a genocide and embroiled in what would go on to become a 12-year civil war. Yes, at 23, to marrying Honda, whose God-given vision birthed all you're about to see. And our joint yes, in 2004, to God's challenge to care for those marginalised by society. Street kids, orphans, widows, the destitute and dying, those rejected by society but having a special place in the Father's heart. Bringing transformation to a country seemed like an impossible calling, but caring for the one was something we could do, and God was responsible for everything else that followed. This is also a testimony to the yes of so many individuals, friends, family and churches, whose yes to giving and supporting restoration of hope has enabled hundreds of lives to be transformed. Our mission goal is working together to bring transformation to society, one life at a time. Over the last 20 years, we've taken over 100 children off the streets, taking them from a life of begging and stealing in order to survive, and giving them a place to call home, meals, clothes, medical care, and an education in order to go on to become contributing members of society. We built 7 homes for boys we reunited with their families and supplied an income-generating project to provide for their family. We also built 3 Hope Houses, homes for ex-street children and orphans. We reunited 14 children with their families in Burundi and Rwanda. Psalm 68:6 says God puts the lonely in families, and reuniting families demonstrates the Father's heart in action. Since beginning Restoration of Hope, more than 300 children have completed school, many being the first in their family to even finish primary education. At present, 137 children are supported in private schools, both in Bujumbura and surrounding districts, 67 in primary and 70 in secondary school. Many more have been kept in education through one-off gifts when their families hit hard times. 20 young people have graduated from university with their bachelor's degrees in a variety of fields, including IT, computer science, international development, entrepreneurship and nursing, and one even earned a master's degree from the University of East Anglia. Bear in mind, these were all previously street children. God sees potential where others see no hope. Our summer seminars equip young people with the life skills and biblical knowledge needed to face challenges and bring solutions to national problems. Living in one of the poorest countries in the world has its challenges, but God has the answers. 4 of the young men we raised now work in local churches, 2 serving as pastors. Through local churches, we support 40 children with food, school fees, medical care and clothing. It's better to help churches keep families together than to wait until the children end up on the street before stepping in. Honda and his team visited 7 provinces to share the gospel and show the Jesus film, crucial in a nation that has experienced so much war and bloodshed and is now on the verge of economic collapse. Only Jesus has the answers to the problems Burundi is facing at present. We support vulnerable people in the community, widows, those living with AIDS, and people with mental and physical handicaps, providing rent, food and medical supplies, reflecting God's heart for the marginalised. Saying yes means that we get to be His hands and feet in our community. For almost 3 years, we provided clean water, food, did medical outreaches, and created a preschool in a camp for 1,500 internally displaced people. When the government disbanded the camp, We helped the preschool relocate, and it continues to provide much needed education in a desperately poor area. Our sewing project has trained 128 women as tailors, many of whom were widows, single mothers or former sex workers. After finishing the course, we set them up with the tools to run their own small businesses, helping them become productive members of society. Another 9 women are training at present, learning new skills and gaining a voice to speak up for themselves. We provided 100 impoverished people with seed potatoes, hoes and fertiliser, empowering them to work themselves out of poverty and become self-sustaining. Our annual Christmas Eve outreach started with a few local children living near our First Hope house and now blesses over 1,300 children, sharing the Christmas message and providing each child with a treat bag, the only Christmas gift that they will receive. Over the last 2 decades, many of our boys have grown up, married and started families of their own, determined to break the cycle of generational abuse and neglect, having found freedom through the love of Jesus they experienced at Restoration of Hope. All of this is a testimony to God's transformative power when we say yes to His call. Thank you for your support, both prayerfully and financially over the last 20 years. Your yes is changing lives and transforming our nation.
Turashima ibikorwa Imana yakoze. Turashima ibikorwa iyo Mana yakoze. Turashima ibikorwa Imana yakoze. Turashima ibikorwa iyo Mana yakoze. Umuryango w'ivyizigiro turashima ibikorwa Imana yakoze.